This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for February 1, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, out-of-control taxi mounts a sidewalk in Mandeville. Police are probing an incident in which pedestrians narrowly escaped serious injuries after an out-of-control public passenger vehicle mounted the sidewalk on Manchester Road in Mandeville on Monday. A police source told the news that the taxi driver reported that he suffered a blackout behind the wheel, causing the vehicle to run onto the sidewalk, hit a wall, and almost mow down at least 7 pedestrians. Closed-circuit television footage shows that the accident, which happened mid-afternoon Monday. The pedestrians are seen walking along the roadway when the taxi suddenly mounts the sidewalk. One of the pedestrians, in a bid to avoid being hit by the taxi, went over a wall before landing on his back. Other pedestrians quickly jumped over perimeter fencing to avoid being mowed down by the out-of-control car. Well-known architect shot dead. A man who was killed in a gun attack in the halfway tree area of St. Andrew on Tuesday evening has been identified. The deceased is 42-year-old Huon Darlin, a well-known architect of Charlton Road, Kingston 8. Police report that about 6:30 p.m., Darlin was driving his white Nissan X-Trail sports utility vehicle along Skibber Avenue heading towards Cargill Avenue when a motorcycle with 2 men aboard rode up and the pillion opened gunfire, hitting Darlin in the head. The SUV then crashed into a wall, and the shooter went in front of the crashed vehicle and shot Darlin multiple times in the upper body. The gunman fled the scene and Darlin died on the spot. Investigations are ongoing. Woman security guard found dead with chop wounds in Hanover. The Hanover police are currently investigating the killing of a woman security guard in a suspected domestic dispute. The exact time the body was found with chop wounds on the outside of a residential apartment on Fort Charlotte Drive in the parish is not clear at this time. Police investigations into the matter are ongoing. Elderly man gunned down at his shop in Clarendon. The Clarendon community of Tollgate is in shock over the shooting death of a 71-year-old shopkeeper. Alfonso Wint, otherwise called the Doctor, of the Coy Road in Tollgate, was last night discovered inside his shop with gunshot wounds to his head. The discovery was made by residents who reported hearing explosions and went to investigate. The shooting happened sometime around 7:30 p.m. The murder of the senior citizen has been strongly condemned. He doesn't make trouble, and a lot of people were on the road last night, and his shop is right at the roadside, said councillor caretaker for the Tollgate division in the Clarendon South-Western constituency, Godfrey Knight, who described the killing as a brazen. Wint sold the coconuts and cane along the roadway. He's a little man with bossy. Him will tell us him no walk and beg. Him have money under him mattress, Knight told the news. A news source disclosed that Wint was robbed of a large sum of money some 2 years ago when criminals invaded his home. The source also said Wint lost his home at the hands of arsonists some 5 years ago. Counsel for the Yorktown division, which is also in Clarendon South-Western, Uphell Purcell, said he knew Wint well and that he is saddened by his murder. "I am so hurt. This man is about 70 years old, a very kind and a gentle man. We are very hurt to know that someone could have gone there last night and took his life in that fashion," bemoaned Purcell, who noted that Wint was well known in the area. Purcell said the government has to do more to stem the country's crime woes. "The one always wrote that the Prime Minister is coming with at all times, SOE, SOE. It's just not working, and he needs to come better," he said. "How do we get guns? I think the Prime Minister needs to focus on that, and he might very well see some fruitful resolutions," said Purcell. Up to January 29, 11 people were killed in Clarendon. This is an increase of 266.7% when compared to the 3 murders recorded during the corresponding period in 2022. A total of 92 homicides were recorded in Clarendon last year. Jamaica looking to U.S. law enforcement for more crime-fighting support. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson has affirmed that he is prepared to submit to U.S. law enforcement more names of people living in that country who are influencing violence in Jamaica. General Anderson was speaking at a media briefing on Tuesday to update the country on matters relating to crime and security in the Area 4 Police Division. General Anderson said key persons behind the flare-up of violence in the Kingston Western and the Kingston Central Police Divisions have been identified. He said those directly involved will be targeted by the police. General Anderson added that further contact will be made with the U.S. authorities on the matter. He said targeted operational activities will be continuing in various divisions in response to criminal activity.
We already had given some of those names to our partners, and we will give some additional names to them, and we'll be pursuing them here and there. Fortunately, we had an arrest up in the U.S. recently of one of the criminal gang leaders here, and his second, and we are working with our partners to see where this goes. But also, as a strategy, and along with our JDF counterparts, because they have moved in quickly to support us when we got the flare-up, but we are now going to go through a process of deliberate searches within the areas that we believe that guns are secreted or that criminal gangs are using as their headquarters and other spaces.
St. Andrews South Police list wanted men. The St. Andrews South Police have named 9 men who are reportedly wanted for various crimes within the division. The police are making an urgent appeal to them to turn themselves into the Hunts Bay Police immediately. They are Ronald Smith, otherwise called the Skull, of Browns Land, Ashley Road and Bentley Road addresses in Kingston. He is wanted for wounding with intent. Romario Grant, otherwise called Kaka, of Nelson Road, Kingston 13, who is wanted for murder. Cruz Nation, otherwise called Cruz, of Ken Hill Drive, Kingston 20, who is wanted for murder and wounding with intent. Jermaine Richards, otherwise called Richie, of Penn Road, Kingston, who is wanted for murder. Cedric Powell of Venables Avenue, Kingston 11, and Bloomsbury Road, Kingston 10, he is wanted for murder. Christopher Duffus, otherwise called Chipper, of Oakland Drive, Kingston 11, who is wanted for murder and wounding with intent. Raheem Brown, otherwise called Berger, who is wanted for murder. Shantoni Cardis, otherwise called Chassis and Taiwan. He is wanted for shooting with intent. Andrew Hall, otherwise called Anton, of Del Path Crescent, Kingston 11, who is wanted for murder. The wanted men are being urged to turn themselves into the police by 5 p.m. on Thursday, February 2, 2023. Anyone with information that can assist the police to locate these men is being asked to contact the Hunts Bay Criminal Investigations Branch at 876-923-7111 or Crime Stop at 311. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.